This game villain's self-saving system. Chapter 11. Audio source, WuxaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 11. TN. There's a bolded word in the text. It was actually in English in the Roars lol, just like boss. Also, Elder Dubai the Elder with the single arm. Figured out a bit late that it was actually his name and not just a description of him, though it's definitely that too. XD. Keep in mind this is a 3-chapter release. After Chapter 11 you can hit the forward button to Chapters 12 and 13. Special thanks to Lewin for rescuing me from headasking due to translation difficulties. 3. Once these words were spoken, everyone was in an uproar. In the crowd, Luo Bing'er was also shocked. He doesn't need even a single hand. Xia Huling snorted and thought that Shen Qingchu was being self-important and conceited, but at the same time felt happy. How could he win so easily, so why not accept? She hurriedly said, "Since Elder Shen has said so, then let's start." Many people on the sides felt that this girl's skin was very thick and wanted to take advantage of others, so there were boos everywhere. Shen Qingchu was the sort of reader who felt that reading was like watching a play. Right now as a character in the story, there was another kind of feeling and he couldn't stand Xia Huling's style of doing things. However, he saw that she was young, sweet, and charming and therefore treated her as a cute loli. In the middle of attention, Shen Qingchu truly did not draw his sword and instead played with the paper fan in his left hand, a small smile on his face as he faced the single-armed elder. Elder Dubai only had one arm but it didn't affect him as he picked up his ghost head knife. But his blade passed, whistling through the air and didn't hit his target. He turned around and saw Shen Qingchu already stood at another location, shaking his fan and laughing at him. However, the Xia sword had already exited its scabbard. Shen Qingchu didn't draw the sword with his hands, only secretly held his hand in a sword seal to manipulate his Xia sword to fly through the air. The snow-white sword light was painful and harmed the Elder Dubai's eyes, so he raised his sword and increased his attacks. The knife and sword clashed, ding-dang sounds without end as sparks danced. Everyone watched with rapt attention. This competition was truly good to see, and beautiful. The first good to see referred to the strength of both parties and their martial skill. The second, beautiful, referred to the visual effect, which was extremely gorgeous. It was particularly so for Shen Qingchu. His ease of movement as his sword whirled into after images of sword light in the air all while shaking his fan leisurely. Every 7 steps giving rise to a poem to send forth this sort of stunning style. Luo Bing'er watched and felt his heart sway. He knew Shen Qingchu was powerful, but he didn't think that he was powerful to this degree. So strong. In the middle of the cheers of the disciples, Shen Qingchu took the victory for the first trial. At this moment, Shen Qingchu could understand a little of the original Good's do-or-die drive to be a pretentious prick. Because it was really too cool. All the disciples had stars in their eyes. Shen Qingchu felt very inspiring. A scum villain could also have a soul-seeking prestige. At the same time, the system sent good news. Demon invasion of the Immortal Mountain, first trial, Shen Qingchu's victory, strength value, +50. B points, +50. The smile in Shen Qingchu's heart didn't last long when the system's next piece of news slapped him in the face. Urgent warning, if Luo Bing'er does not participate in the competition, the protagonist's degree of coolness will be deducted by 1000. What? The Shen Qingchu whose heart wasn't prepared received a big shock and changed color. The coolness level that he puffed and blew and worked so hard for all this time was still only a bit over 300. This one time will deduct 1000. System, are you trying to kill people? The competition this time was an important scene in the plot. At the same time, it was a prelude to Little or the two female protagonists' debut, receiving the little brother, receiving Cheats, and other important roles. If Luo Bing'er couldn't make an appearance here, he wouldn't be able to emerge in the limelight and attract the attention of everyone, so his coolness 1000. But if he was allowed to be a representative of the sect and fight, then what would the Shenxing Chu who did this be? The original Goods was able to push Luo Bing'er onto the stage because he was shameless. He didn't even care about his own sex honor. He hated Luo Bing'er to the bone, enough to borrow the hands of the demons to abuse him. But right now, Shenxing Chu didn't meet any of these 3 points. In the end, he still had to blame this completely unscientific system. When speaking about the protagonist's coolness, why does it have to be based on the efforts of others? Shenxing Chu was still angry about how unscientific the system was when the second round was about to begin. Xia Huling was afraid of Shenxing Chu bailing out and slowly said, "If in the following trials only one person goes up each time, then there wouldn't be the meaning of receiving pointers. My family's representative for the second trial will be me." For her to take the stage, she was firstly confident in her own strength, secondly because she felt that Shenxing Chu probably wouldn't use his elder's authority to press her junior's authority. Shenxing Chu expressed a complete unwillingness to mind these small matters. Even if he originally had the intention to bail out using his power and prestige, it withered upon hearing the system's notice. But the second round could also be considered very exciting from another point of view. Shenxing Chu lazily said, "You all heard her words. Who is willing to take this responsibility?" Though he was asking all the disciples, his eyes fell on a certain area. That area was full of graceful female disciples. No doubt they're all Jianshu Peak disciples. Within this stuffed to bursting area of beautiful white Jianshu Peak MM3, there was someone who stuck out and wore a veil. After Shenxing Chu asked, this person slowly stood out. Shenxing Chu felt a burst of hard-to-conceal excitement. Come. She has come. The novel's two big female leads were about to PK5 for the first time. Lu Mingyan 4 was a big beauty. A heaven and earth shocking, making ghosts and gods weep kind of big beauty. Even if the beauties from the ancient generation of Jianshu Peak were brought out, she would still stand out from them. Her older brother was Baizan Peak's Peak Lord. She only became one of Jianshu Peak's later generation disciples because her age was small and she entered late. Because she was overly beautiful, enough to steal a soul, she had to wear a veil to cover her face all year round. She was like a flower high up and unattainable. In short, in order to write this character's appearance, Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky probably used all the idioms he learned from primary school to high school. It must have been really tough on him. Shenxing Chu really liked this female protagonist. The reason was not only because Lu Minyan's appearance was the highest. It was also because she had great tolerance, great style, understood the overall situation, and was just and upright. In Luo Bing'er's enormous harem, it was difficult to find such an intelligent wife with good character. Another point, Lu Mingyan was the only female lead that Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky didn't describe in detail with his pen to the point of being knocked over. Though this arrangement made many readers dissatisfied enough to spray blood like skyscrapers. This gave Lu Mingyan something that the other women didn't have, a character as pure as jade and chaste as ice. Nothing can be done, can't achieve this matters best. The thing to watch in this battle were the words. If there is an evil path, demon girl, then naturally there must be a righteous path, a mortal girl. Every man had a dream to be sandwiched between and troubled by angels and demons, seeing him jealously fight for him one moment and give their lives for him the next. It's a male creature's most lofty YY canon scene. The beauty of an evil demon girl's wild and unrestrained behavior can make him drunk. The righteous saint girl wavering between abstinence and desire, letting people's hearts itch. Having thought to hear, Shen Qingqiu cried some bitter tears for himself and couldn't help but look towards Luo Bing'er again. It was hard for Luo Bing'er not to notice all the glances he was getting. Why did Shen Qingqiu notice him so much? Can it be that Shizun really looks favorably on me? However, under Great God Airplane Towards the Sky's pen, the fights between female characters, unless it was ripping beep off for men, 7 there wasn't anything particularly interesting to see. After a time equitable to the burning of a few sticks of incense, Lu Mingyan was defeated. She hadn't found her sword at Wanjian Peak 8 yet after all. Her techniques were all basic swordplay, while Xia Huling was already the demon sex demon saint. There was naturally a difference in strength between these two. Lu Mingyan walked in front of Shen Qingqiu. This disciple has lost and disgraced the mission. I request that Martial Uncle Shen punish me. Shen Qingqiu said. You undertook this responsibility and burden. It was not easy on you. Having lost this time, pay attention to your martial arts and just win back another day. Having won a round, Xia Huling was radiant and coquettishly said, this third trial will determine the victory. Don't know who Elder Shen will send up for the next trial. This time, you had better choose carefully. WuxiaWorldAudio.com. Shen Qingqiu supported himself with a hand and stood. He said with deep meaning, no need for young miss to trouble herself. This Shen has a person in mind who he can guarantee will not only win, but will be your nemesis. Xia Huling acted as though he was just speaking words to frighten her and clapped her hands. She said, which brave warrior volunteers for the third trial? In the middle of the numerous demons, a giant elder slowly walked out. He was called a giant because he was really too tall. He was definitely over 10 zhang feet high. A back like a tiger's and a waist like a bear, his hair loose and shaggy from top to bottom, wearing thorny armor, and dragging a fine iron sledgehammer. With every step he took, Shen Qingqiu felt the ground shake a little. Xia Huling delightedly said, I'll give everyone on the Immortal Mountain a warning first. The spikes on Elder Tianchui's 9 armor are covered with my family's strong poison. This kind of poison has no effect on demons, but if a human is pierced, there is no cure. The first feeling Shen Qingqiu got after hearing these words was, damned Great God Airplane Towards the Sky, don't choose a name so carefreely and so easily. A person with a single arm is called Elder Dubai, single arm. His weapon's a big hammer, so he's called Elder Tianchui, Sky Hammer. Does he dare choose a name diligently? The people on the sidelines were all enraged. Stinking demon girl. Competing is competing. Using strong poison, what fairness is there? Xia Huling retorted. I didn't hide this point. If you feel anything's unfair, or if you're afraid of getting poison and losing your life, the custom is to cede the trial and there would be no more need to compete. We demons won't laugh at you since we dared life. It's only human. The demons' loud laughter and the angry condemnations of the disciples sounded. Shen Qingqiu's heart already didn't have many good feelings towards the original Xia Huling, and now it reached a new low. A type of woman like Xia Huling, when the reader takes the view of the YY protagonist, she can be given 10,000 likes. But when standing by her side in reality, Shen Qingqiu didn't believe there would be anyone who would be able to like her. It wasn't because there were differences compared to what was described in the book. In truth, the worst thing was, she was too much like the original. A fierce and spicy hot character, plus too brainlessly in love. If it wasn't because she was one of the protagonist's people, she would have gone to the other side earlier. Once you threaten her or any bit of Luo Binga's interests, she would want to take your dog life first, even if you were her real father. In the original work, in order to deliver up the Demon Realm seat to Luo Binga, didn't she defraud her own birth father? Luo Binga, you're going to have to suffer a little for now. Towards Xia Huling's provocation, Shen Qingchu was indifferent and left a space of blank time. It gave the Demon Realm people pressure, as well as keeping people in suspense, for a time, until he finally turned around and fixed his eyes firmly in someone's direction. Luo Binga, you come out. End chapter 11. One ghost head knife. Not sure I translated this right lol. I assume they're talking about a sort of saber rather than knife. In Chinese, the character for knife is included in the word for saber. 2. Good to see. Beautiful. In Chinese, the characters used for these phrases are the same, how can, but have different meanings because of the context. 3. Slang for Mei or little sister. In this context, RMC's calling the Jianshu Peak disciples a bunch of babes. XD. For Lu Mingyan, Mingyan means sea, drizzle, mist. 5. PK, gaming slang for PvP, person versus person, killing. Player kill, hence PK. 6. Pure as jade, chaste as ice, meaning someone with a pure and noble character. 7. Ripping, beep off for men, meaning girls ripping clothes off in a catfight for men to see. 8. Wanjian Peak, 10,000 sword peak. This is where disciples go to find those sword. 9. Elder Qian Chui, Elder Sky Hammer, end chapter.